The late, great Kobe Bean Bryant, in an interview said, "I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players that ever played. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for." Could things be complicated because we are paying attention to and being distracted by too many different things? In today's episode of It's Easy, Don't Complicate It, I'd like to highlight the power of focus.
Do you know that it just takes time? I know that you're speaking to me, and that's a sign. I know that you're patiently waiting to change my life. All I gotta do is listen and obey Christ.
One acronym for focus is follow one course until successful. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And in order for us to progressively realize anything worthwhile, we must maintain focus on that thing. Focus creates the opportunity for us to see what we may have missed before. Focus is how we gain understanding, insight, and awareness about things that may have seemed complicated. I remember as a young boy playing at home in my backyard. There was a 5x5 cement slab, and I would dribble my basketball on it or draw on it with chalk. I would also burn dried up individual leaves on the cement slab using a magnifying glass. The angle of the magnifying glass towards the sun had to be just right, and I had to hold the magnifying glass steady toward the leaf. After about 30 seconds, you would see smoke coming from the leaf, and a burning hole would grow larger in the leaf until it actually caught fire, or just turned completely to ash. Well, focus works like a magnifying glass. Whatever we focus on long enough changes us. Psalm 34:3 says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together." 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, "But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord." So as we magnify and behold the Lord by spending time reading, listening to, and praying his word, we are changed by him. We begin to see ourselves like he sees us. We become like him. There is a quote that actually says, "We become what we think about most." Do we even realize from day to day what our predominant thoughts are? Isaiah 26:3 in the New King James Version says, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you." Are we focused mostly on trusting God, or are we focused more on fear, doubt, and worry? The Hong Kong American martial artist and actor Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." A jack of all trades and master of none is someone with poor discipline, divided interest, and lack of focus. James 1:6-8 in the NIV says, "But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord." Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Singleness of focus is what keeps us from becoming double-minded, disillusioned, and unstable. Up one minute and down the next is not because of unwanted circumstances and situations. Up one minute and down the next is due to focus that has been allowed to be interrupted and redirected. Obstacles are those frightful things we see when we lose focus of our goal. We must learn to guard our hearts and firmly hold our focus on what we truly want. Hebrews 12:2 in the New King James Version says, "Looking unto Jesus," or focusing on Jesus, "the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him," or who focused more on the joy than the pain, "endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." The joy of the reward must be big enough to hold our focus and inspire us to keep going even when everything around us seems contrary. Psalm 119, verse 165 in the King James Version reads, "Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them." We must refuse to get offended when people or situations intentionally or unintentionally try to get in the way of our focus. Keynote speaker and wealth expert Myron Golden often says, disruption follows intention. This means the very moment we choose to focus on one thing, everything else seemingly gets jealous for our attention. Have you ever longed for intimacy and couldn't seem to find the right one? And then when you did find them, all of a sudden, everyone else is admiring you and showing interest? Or have you ever struggled to find the right job and finally you do? Then suddenly, job opportunities start popping up out of nowhere? It could be you are being tested to see if you really want the thing you have become focused to get. We must focus on our intentions and ignore distractions. The reason the majority of people are easily distracted from their focus may simply be because they were never told focus must be practiced. Paying attention to our intention is a skill that we must build. Just like doing push-ups or sit-ups, the more we practice, the more we have the capacity to do. John 12:32 in the King James Version says, "And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me." John 3:14-16 in the NIV says, "Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes may have eternal life in him. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." How do you respond to this? This is Mr. Kenneth Bailey. I love you. God bless you. Until next time.
A change is coming, it's coming in quick. I know that it's you, it's really legit. Do you know